If you find the current Formula One era unexciting, here's some promising news. Engineers from the FIA and Formula One are working tirelessly on the 2026 Formula One car. Their primary objective is to recover 350 kilowatts of power with each lap, a goal that significantly influences the car's overall design. What's more, they're also committed to enhancing overtaking opportunities. The rapid pace of change in Formula One regulations means that just 2 years separate us from the introduction of the 2026 car. This forthcoming vehicle will be notably larger than its 2022 predecessor, impacting both its engine and overall structure. The new engine constraints will shape the car's appearance, signaling a significant shift in its driving concept. While the hybrid drive regulations are well established, the core design of the combustion engine remains largely unchanged. The minimum weight requirement is set at 130 kilograms, with the turbocharger weighing 12 kilograms and the MGUK at 16 kilograms. The battery, a crucial component, must weigh at least 35 kilograms. Consequently, the total weight of the car will rise to 193 kilograms, representing a substantial 23% increase from the current weight. In a bid to make Formula One more environmentally friendly, the sport is adopting 100% sustainable fuel. Additionally, the proportion of electric power is nearly tripling, allowing the battery to generate 350 kilowatts instead of the previous 120 kilowatts. Notably, only the MGUK will remain for the recuperation of 475 horsepower, as the MGUH, which harnesses energy from exhaust gases, has been eliminated. This transformation has far-reaching consequences for the car's operation. Each lap necessitates a means of replenishing the battery's energy, as traditional kinetic energy recovery during partial engine load range is insufficient. To compound matters, burning petrol is required to generate electricity, with experts estimating that approximately 30 kilograms of race-available petrol will be consumed for this purpose. Another challenge lies in the increased weight of the latest generation of power units. These new cars, weighing 798 kilograms, have raised concerns among purists, who consider them too heavy. Without intervention, the hybrid powertrain's weight would exceed 800 kilograms. The FIA, however, has expressed its intention to reduce the overall car weight by 50 kilograms. Formula One's technical director, Pat Symonds, believes this target is overly ambitious but suggests a more feasible initial reduction of 20 kilograms, with the possibility of eliminating minimum weight altogether through competition-driven innovations. Both the FIA and Formula One are in favor of this approach. Striking a balance between safety, cost control, via budget caps, and lap time optimization through weight and aerodynamics is now the technical office's challenge. The 2022 season demonstrated the appeal of this balancing act. Alfa Romeo enjoyed an early advantage in 2022 due to their lightweight car, while Red Bull faced challenges due to their heavier vehicle. It was their exceptional aerodynamics that saved the day. However, FIA Sports heads Nicolas Tombazis and Pat Symonds express concerns that some teams may overreact to these consequences. To mitigate risks, it becomes imperative to establish minimum criteria, but as an initial measure, we can consider raising the weight limits for the drive components. Implementing cost restrictions can also deter an expensive arms race in this regard. Excessive use of lightweight construction carries the potential for structural flaws, but introducing a bit more unpredictability could benefit the sport. Even in the absence of a prescribed minimum weight, the drive components will be heavier than they are presently. This necessitates compensatory adjustments in other aspects of the car, which is where significant revisions are being made. Rather than the current 8-speed setup, the gearbox will be reduced to 6 speeds. Both cars and tires will be more compact, with the width shrinking from 200 to 190 centimeters, and the wheelbase contracting from 360 to 340 centimeters. While Symonds believes that a wheelbase of 330 centimeters is achievable, some teams disagreed, leading to a decision to settle on 340 centimeters. The wings will also feel the impact of reduced surface area and volume, with experts anticipating a 40% reduction in downforce. Active aerodynamics are expected to further minimize drag on straightaways, preventing cars from coasting excessively to recharge the battery. Simulations have shown that, considering all factors, the cars will not become slower. Encouragingly, overtaking should become more straightforward without the aid of advanced technology. Engineers have proposed a minor tweak in this regard, a concept that was previously considered for the 2022 cars but ultimately shelved. Symonds has not divulged the specifics of this proposal, only hinting at its nature. What we do know is that trailing another car will become considerably easier in the future. However, one may recall past promises made for the 2022 changes and the present reality of watching large, boat-like cars navigating exceedingly tight tracks week in and week out. But there's more news to digest. After months of meticulous evaluation by the FIA regarding expressions of interest to enter F1 as early as 2025, the governing body has unveiled its findings. According to a statement issued on Monday, Andretti stands as the sole application under consideration for the third and final stage of selection, which involves F1's commercial rights holders. Operating under the name Andretti Formula Racing LLC, their application has outshone the other three final contenders, meeting the FIA's stringent criteria and progressing to the final stage of the application process. While the FIA is content with the Andretti bid and believes it aligns with all standards, it does not guarantee the team's participation. The FIA's due diligence process entails a comprehensive assessment of each applicant's sporting, technical, and financial aspects. Ultimately, the final decision hinges on whether Andretti can persuade the commercial rights holder to withdraw long-standing opposition. Andretti must now work toward a favorable economic agreement with FOM. There has been long-standing resistance to expanding the field beyond 10 teams, and this latest endeavor is poised to be the most challenging yet. The existing 10 teams are inclined to maintain their exclusive status, operating as a private and untouchable collective. Under the existing Concord deal, if approved, Andretti would be obligated to pay a non-refundable entry fee of $200 million, which would be evenly distributed among the current teams. However, the existing teams view this sum as insufficient, merely compensating them for a short period to offset the potential losses resulting from the introduction of an 11th team vying for a piece of the pie. Additionally, the rights holders, who are staunch supporters of the established teams, show little enthusiasm for the inclusion of a new entrant. F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali has consistently emphasized that any new team must bring tangible value to the competition. Domenicali stated before the summer break, "As we always said, we need to make sure that the decision is right for the business, and this is what I think is the duty of the FIA and us together, that has to be taken." So that is another decision that will be taken in the next couple of months. Given this backdrop and the ongoing nature of the process, F1's response to the FIA's announcement was brief and seemed somewhat obligatory. F1 issued a statement saying, "We note the FIA's conclusions about the first and second phases of their process, and will now conduct our assessment of the merits of the remaining application." The application process unfolds in three major stages. The initial stage involves the first call for expressions of interest, which garnered significant interest, according to the FIA. The second phase, as described by the FIA, is an exhaustive due diligence process that scrutinizes the applicant's sporting and technical capabilities, their ability to secure and maintain sufficient funding for competitive participation in the championship, as well as their experience and human resources. FIA President Mohammed Ben Salem emphasized the rigorous nature of the selection process, which accounts for the protracted timeline, as it commenced in February. Recent speculation has hinted at the potential for legal action if Andretti fails to establish commercial agreements and secure entry. However, Ben Salem was careful to emphasize that the FIA meticulously followed proper protocols. He stated, "The FIA was very clear in establishing stringent criteria for entry from the outset of the expression of interest procedure. Our objective, after rigorous due diligence during the application phase, was to only approve prospective entries that satisfied the set of criteria and illustrated that they would add value to the sport. The FIA is obliged to approve applications that align with the requirements set forth in the expressions of interest to the application, and they have adhered to the procedure in determining that Andretti Formula Racing LLC's application would advance to the next stage of the application process. In making this decision, the FIA is in accordance with EU directives concerning motorsport participation and development. Andretti Formula Racing LLC emerged as the sole entity that satisfactorily met the established selection criteria in all significant aspects. I extend my congratulations to Michael Andretti and his team for their comprehensive submission. I also want to express gratitude to all prospective teams for their interest and participation." Effectively, the authorities had no alternative but to accept Andretti's application. An EU regulation dating back to 2000 prohibits the rejection of an application without valid grounds. To do so, one would need to put oneself in jeopardy or bring disrepute to the sport. Andretti is a well-established racing team with a decades-long track record. Their engine partner, General Motors, ranks among the world's largest automobile manufacturers. General Motors is actively budgeting for the development of a Formula One engine. Despite the need for Andretti to acquire chassis expertise and engines from Alpine to fund the Formula One project, GM remains committed to its Cadillac campaign. As part of this shift in funding, only one car will participate in the World Endurance Championship, WEC, moving forward. Furthermore, the American team has already recruited experienced Formula One personnel for key roles within their racing department. Andretti welcomed the news, stating in a press release, "Andretti Cadillac is honored that the FIA has granted approval to Andretti Formula Racing's expression of interest for the Formula One World Championship. We deeply appreciate the FIA's meticulous, transparent, and comprehensive evaluation process, and are tremendously excited about the opportunity to compete in such a historic and prestigious championship. The establishment of this distinctly American team marks a moment of immense pride for all our staff and supporters. We firmly believe that Andretti Cadillac's extensive racing expertise, and the technological advancements derived from motorsport will not only benefit our customers, but also elevate excitement for Formula One on a global scale. We eagerly anticipate engaging with all Formula One stakeholders, as we advance with our preparations to join the grid at the earliest opportunity." What are your thoughts on this development? Do you welcome the addition of an 11th team to the grid?